She's still laughing.
That's so funny. Welcome to 5 Lemons Left. We're the real stuff, the lemons making lemonade. So pucker up because we're going to be discussing our life's lessons and the nitty-gritty details of our spiritual journeys.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Drusilla.
I'm Melissa.
Hello, this is Morgan.
And I'm Penny. Welcome to our podcast today. Oh, I love
Today we're
us.
talking about trusting our intuition, and Morgan, wow. She just told us that she is putting her house on the market and doesn't have a place to live. So let's start with that.
Wow.
Okay, yes. Well, so as I think I've shared on here before, if you've been listening or if you're new here, I'll share again. My husband and I moved to Costa Rica a year ago. And so before that, I had a lucrative, lovely, wonderful career, 17 years with this one company. And so my guidance and intuition was just leading me to something different, and it didn't make logical sense. Why would you give up a perfectly good career with great benefits and great pay and comfort and a certain level of security? Why would you give all of that up for the unknown? And it was truly just putting one step in front of the other and following my guidance. And it was confusing at times. It was stressful at times. It was not always easy, but then there were like little and big miracles all along the way, just like clearly indicating that we were on the right path. So yes. So when we moved here, the kind of thought was, because you can't really work here if you're not a resident, was that we would just invest in real estate. I mean, everybody has seen what is happening in real estate over the past few years. So we just figured we would do that until something else revealed itself. And so we are really, in a way, just flying by the seat of our pants and seeing how things are going to unfold. We have no, people ask us all the time, are you there permanently? How long are you going to be there? What are you going to do next? Like, we don't know the answer to any of those questions. And I feel perfectly fine with that. So yes, as soon as we finished building this house, we put it on the market. So we love this house, and if it sells, we'll get a great return on investment and we'll figure out what's next. So that is the way we are rolling with that. Yes.
Now you're going to build your next dream house.
Yeah. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. It's been a really great practice in letting go of attachments too, because I did love our house that we sold in Florida. I love this house. And what softened that for me was just remembering back to every apartment, every house, every rental that I've ever lived in. I've loved every single one of them. And some of them were total dumps, but like, you put your stamp on it, you make it yours. And so it's not about the house itself. So that is what helped me with that.
Nice.
So since we're having a discussion about trusting the intuition, like, how, Morgan, would you say that? So you got this prompt to move. So how did you know it was your intuition, divine guidance, as opposed to ego-led something or other?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. And I think it's just, it's kind of like a moment by moment moment by moment thing, because it wasn't like, it was a bunch of choice points along the way.
Mhm.
And the idea of staying in Santa Rosa Beach, where we moved from, the idea of staying in my comfy career, our comfy life, where all of our friends were, where our family came to visit us, and where we were not, too far away from visiting our family, like all of that. It was comfortable, and it would have been the easier thing to do, but there was a longing for something else. And so whenever I would start thinking about the move to Costa Rica and how that would come about, there was excitement. And whenever I don't know if I'm really being clear here. Here's one thing. There was a lot of prayer around it. There was a lot of journaling around it. There was a lot of visioning around it. And one thing that was very helpful to me was around the time that we started thinking about this, I learned about human design, and I learned about my human design type. And so I am a manifesting generator, and one of my things is to wait for clarity. So like if your initial gut response is a yes, but it's a big decision, like my personality type is meant to sleep on it. And if it's a really big decision, is meant to sleep on it for several days or even weeks and make sure that the excitement is still there. So I did a lot of like waiting for clarity. So it wasn't super black and white. It wasn't always like, yes, this is definitely the right decision. This is definitely not a mistake. There was a lot of, there was a lot of trepidation in it because it was very much stepping out of the comfort zone.
So what I'm hearing is like you did not hear the voice of God going, move to Costa Rica.
Right.
No, that wasn't it? Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
It wasn't an audible voice from the sky.
Yeah.
I have also been in the same position, and I was actually in another country when we got an offer on my house, and I had to move in 30 days, and we didn't have a house, and it was January in Denver, Colorado, and it was snowing, and I knew that we would have to come back from our trip, and we had to pack a house and move and find one in 30 days. So I'm only adding that because I really think there are a couple things to this. I think it is your intuition and getting really settled in kind of like, this is what I want. This is what we're moving towards, and praying and waiting for your guidance. But the other side is overcoming fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the other side is getting really clear about what you're scared about. And it's all the future stuff. Will I find a house? Will we be able to move in time? Will I have to rent a house? Am I going to hate it? All those fears. So I had to really like knock down the fears one at a time. And this part of the trust is to get through the fear and not to be, hanging on the outcome, but knowing it's going to work out. I think another part is other people's fears.
Oh, that's a big one.
And tell you. I mean, I had 2 children, a husband, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a humongous totem pole I had to move. And I mean, like 15 years of stuff as a family and kids and bikes and all that stuff. And how are you going to move in time? How are you going to find the house? Are you guys going to rent? What if you lose all this money renting? Don't you want to buy? Isn't buying better than renting? I mean, I had so much outside input about their fears. other people's fears.
Yeah.
And they weren't mine. Like, I was like, yeah, I loved my old house.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. But I knew it was time for us to go. And so I just had to hold that and just like block everybody out. But so I think you really have to get clear on when you're moving in a certain direction, what may stop you in following your heart and moving in and listening to your intuition and being quiet is all that other fear stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an important part of learning to trust your intuition.
Yes, I
Great
agree.
point, Melissa. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think what I've become more and more clear on, and I think I first heard this from Tina Spalding, but I've heard it reiterated from other spiritual teachers before, but spirit speaks to us through our desires, or I'd like to. It's like, I would like to do this. And then comes in the ego with all the fear thoughts about why that's a bad idea and why we shouldn't do that. So just using that desire, the things that like were compelling me as my true north, my compass, and then addressing the fears as a distraction or a secondary thing, like that, focusing on like, okay, what is it that I am desiring? That is spirit leading me and guiding me, helped me to drown out some of that other noise. And when the thought of, oh, it'd be so much easier to just stay here and stay put, whenever that thought would show up, something would happen to be like, nope. Like all of a sudden my commute to work, which used to be 10 minutes, would take 30 minutes because traffic was getting so bad. All of a sudden we couldn't find a parking place at our favorite beach. All of a sudden work was becoming less fun, more like weird dynamics happening that made me not excited to be there anymore. And like, so like it was just further confirmation that I was moving in the right direction and that I could stay, but it wouldn't be what it had been. Like things shift, things change. And so, yeah.
I have a really fun story too about real estate and moving in the right direction. Every time that we've bought commercial real estate, well, even our houses, it's just been the right time. And our company had we were like bursting at the seams. We had 2 8,600 square foot buildings that our company was located in. And it was bursting and we couldn't expand and we couldn't do some of the cool things we wanted to do. And so we had this realtor come in and he just went around and knocking in our neighborhood. Like we were not even a block away from where we were for 25 years. I think 1998. Yeah. 20 years. He just knocked on the building we're in now. He said, my clients are looking for a building and I was wondering if you're open to selling. And they said, as a matter of fact, we would love to sell this building. We're moving to North Carolina. Our company is in like 4 months. And we went, perfect. We'll buy it. And it just all worked out. It was just really beautiful. There were some things that got in the way here and there, but I mean, we got moved. It's a beautiful building. We're very happy here. Sure, we could have bought maybe bigger, but we're making it work. But it was, I just trusted when we came to look at it, it was the right place to move our company. And so I always said to my husband, we need to buy this now. And then we do. And he doesn't always take action as quickly as I would like him to, but it's all okay. It all works out. Yeah. And sometimes I don't take action as quickly as he would like me to. So I guess I don't know what the word is. Like we have interdependent. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. But it's like that pause that we each have. It might be a useful pause, if that makes sense. Like maybe I get too excited and don't think it through completely. And he might get too excited and not think it. Yeah. So it actually works out interdependently very beautifully.
We have some of that stuff happening here in our relationship too. So Penny, tell me how you hear intuition or guidance, whatever you want to call it. How does that?
That's a really good question. I think it's just a feeling. I just feel it that I think I'm more kinesthetic anyway.
Mhm.
And so it just feels right. Like I can walk into a space and I go, yep, this is the right place. The energy, it's energy. It's totally energy. And since we're all energetic beings anyway, the energy is really fun too. When we moved into this building, we put pennies in the walls and we did saging and we walked around. It's 4,200 square feet. And so we saged the whole building and we did all these things to make sure that all the old energy was gone from it too. Because my intuition my brother and it told us, just clear the space so that it's ready for the new energy of your company. And so we trusted that and we did it. And I'm starting to if I get an intuitive hit, you know what, maybe you should, what was the most recent one? It was kind of a silly one too. My windows were down in my car in the garage, but we do have raccoons and we do have a neighbor's cat that comes into our garage at night. And so the intuition said, you should probably close your windows in your car tonight. And so I thought, God, that's so stupid. What's going to get in my car? But I closed them because I'm trusting my intuition. And when I got that intuitive hit, close my windows, I said, okay, I'm not going to fight it. I'll just get in the car and close my windows. I don't know if the raccoon and the cat came in that night, but it doesn't really matter because they didn't get in my car because the windows were closed. But anyway.
Andy, that's a beautiful story. And I really like the listening to the little things. So yeah, Mike and I had our 25-year wedding anniversary and we had people over for a party and I was cleaning my house because that's what you do when you have company. Mm-hmm. And underneath my kitchen sink, I kept looking at it and going, clean that out, clean that out. I'm like, it's underneath my sink. Clean that out, clean that out. So I'm like, okay, that's like the last thing I did before people were coming. So I pulled everything out from underneath my kitchen sink and I reorganized it and I wiped it down. So one of our friends brought their son and he's like 8 years old and he loves construction, everything. He was walking around pointing out the soffits and he brought a tool with him. And I mean, he's like, this little 8-year-old is man talking construction. And he walks over to my sink and says, I want to look under your sink because we have a little small reverse osmosis. I'm like, let me show you. Ta-da! And I opened it up and I was like, so excited. And then he explained all the hoses that were under there. I mean, he was and I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yes. This is good, clean living. I was so celebrating that little intuitive hit that I actually listened to.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
That reminds me, Jennifer Hadley, our spiritual teacher, where we all met, has shared about developing intuition as starting with the little intuitive hits that you get. And one example that she gave was when you get the thought, it would be a good idea to take my dog out to use the bathroom right now. And so often we brush those aside. And so just learning to follow those every time they come through is one way to put in the reps, as they say, and build that muscle. So that simple practice was really helpful to me.
Thanks, Morgan. What about you, Melissa? Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a very clear way, and it is I hear or I experience things within a week in 3 or 4 times. If I'm meditating on a certain meditation or praying or reading something or even, listening to a podcast or being in groups with you guys, I will hear something and then I will hear it again and then I will hear it again and then I will hear it again. And then I know I have to do something in that direction.
What was the most recent thing you heard?
let's see. Oh, I was just sharing this yesterday on a book club we have that our book club is examining in money. We're examining like who's our posse, who are our people, and what are our groups of people who really support us. And so I was in another group, a business group, yesterday, earlier in the day, and they were talking about the same thing in business. And so then I have heard it again, and now I'm talking about it. So it's that kind of thing. It's like themes reappearing. So yeah, I do it that. And then I also do the angel numbers. It's a little corny, but I do them. I really love them. And when I was traveling in Oregon, it was 55 degrees out and my odometer hit 55,555 miles.
Wow.
I freaked out. It was so great. I took pictures, So anyways, those kind of things. And I have set myself up that way. Like I have told myself, I will pay attention in certain ways. And angel numbers are a type, and things that I hear over and over. I've pretty much told myself that's how I'm getting it. My intuition, and that's how I do it.
Yeah, your messages.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, I love that you were like, I have two questions for you. For one, who's your money posse, right? I really want to know that. And I forgot the other question. So,
well, I've got a few of them on this call.
Yeah.
And then I do have a business group, and I do have other people who I go to for help. And so, yeah, I've made, and I have a spiritual group, but I really this is one of my spiritual groups. And I come to this group and our Jennifer Hadley groups for more than just spiritual information. Like I will come with a money issue and I will receive spiritual direction on that money issue. And so it all kind of comes together for me.
That's a really great point, because I think that often, spirit guides us through other people.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And I love the way I remembered what else, the other point that I was going to bring up, Melissa, is like requesting how you want to receive information. Like we are divine beings living in this human experience. We are, my belief is we are as God created us. So as Morgan was talking earlier about our, like receiving intuition through our wants and desires. So like we can ask the universe, angels, God, whatever. I want this information. It would be nice if like, I'm going to pay attention when this pattern repeats and repeats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have I was supposed to go do something that was out of my comfort zone. And so I was saying, I really need an answer. And for me, it was like a yes or no. And so I really need to have an answer. And so I looked down at my phone and it was like 111. I don't remember what it was at that point. But then the next day I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this. The next day I was actually going to this event, and I woke up and I was like, okay, I just really need to know. I'm going to give you one more chance. I need to know. And I look at my phone. It was 5:55 in the morning. And then I get my stuff ready and I call ahead. I'm like, going to go to this event. And I go, okay, one more shot. I wanted to be not to go, called out. And I got 111. And then I got on the road to go, and I was getting on the freeway. And I was like, last chance.
Yeah.
Last chance. And I picked up my phone and it was 222.
That's so funny.
And it was like every single time I asked.
Yeah. Yes. And to Amanda's point, if that is not happening for our listeners out there, that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. And that's just not the way that spirit communicates with you. Everybody, it comes through differently for everyone.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I've only recently been doing that.
Yeah.
The themes that has come a lot to me. And that for me was more like paying attention. Like, oh, here, I'm hearing this again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention. But recently I've been like, let's prove this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because of that Pam Grout book?
Correct.
Okay, there's a book that Melissa and I just read recently called E² by Pam Grout, and it's got how many experiments in it?
7.
7. I think it's 7 different experiments and I think it could be helpful for listeners out there if you're interested in experimenting with this and developing that, recognizing the voice for God, recognizing intuition, recognizing spirit. Anyway, it's a great book, plugging it here, not affiliated or anything like that. Just really enjoy it.
I am still waiting to drop 40 pounds. But that hasn't happened yet. Let's see what it says. Oh, 402. Nope.
Oh, darn.
That's so funny. Well, I could share one other example. I'm sorry, Amanda. What were you about to say?
So let me just, so I'm clear, this E² by Pam Grout. Did I hear it correctly? And it's about what? Proving God? Is that what it's about?
It's like 7 spiritual experiments. She references A Course in Miracles a lot. She references quantum physics a lot. So basically she's positing that these spiritual principles are provable by the scientific method.
Okay.
So
But
it's
it's
9
really
do-it-yourself. 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality.
Yay. Penny, let's just read it, what it says. I love that about you, Penny.
So resourceful. So resourceful.
Yeah.
So thank you for clarifying that. I didn't know. So I wanted to make sure I was.
Perfect.
It's kind of like, your thoughts become things.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Love proving God. It's one of my favorite things.
But what made me think about it too, originally, was when you pointed out, Amanda, that Melissa had basically asked to receive messages from spirit in that way. Because one of the experiments is ask for a sign to come in a specific way. Mm-hmm. So that's what made me think of it.
And Morgan, you were going to tell another story too before I.
Yes, I was going to tell another example of how intuition has come through for me in the past. So back in probably, I think it was 2016, when I first started studying A Course in Miracles and listening to the A Course in Miracles podcast that Jennifer Hadley has. She mentioned on one of the episodes something about her spiritual counseling certification program. And I just had a ding, ding, ding. Like, I knew the first time I ever heard her mention that program that I was going to do that one day. And I had no idea why. I mean, at that time, I was still madly in love with my career and everything, no intention of ever leaving that job. So I had no idea why I got such a strong yes. I had no idea if I would do anything with it. Still don't really know what I'm doing with it. But 2 years ago, I enrolled in the program so that was 2021. So that was 5 years after getting that first intuitive hit. That was in hindsight, that was intuition. That was me hearing Holy Spirit pulling me towards something with a powerful yes. It was that. It's that if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no thing. It was a strong yes. That is, another analogy that people have shared that I have found truly helpful. Do you want oysters right now? Yes or no?
No.
Mm. That's how our intuition comes through. It is just as clear as that. It's a yes or no. You know in your body if it's a yes or a no for you. You just cloud it up with confusion and fear and ego thoughts. So
Do
anyway,
you want chocolate?
Yes.
yes, only if it's dark chocolate and only if it's from Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Funny.
I don't know if I would describe that as intuition, but I do know I want it. Yeah. My intuition like has a way of, I think because I like don't like the feeling of that. I don't like the feeling of fear. Who does? That's kind of a ridiculous statement. That if like the universe were to show me like the big picture of what is like how I could really live my life, it would scare the bejesus out of me. So I tend to get like small steps, right? Like really small steps. So I can see where I am right now. And I could be sitting in this space, like judging myself for I'm not doing enough, right? And then I can look back over the last 2 years and like, wow, I've come a long way. And if I would have known what was in store for me, would I have really, pursued it? So just interesting. That's how intuition kind of works in reverse for me sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. And what helped me in all of my big transitions in life is just constantly reminding myself that I can't get this wrong. There aren't really any wrong choices. So it's really about coming into alignment with whatever choice I'm going to decide to make. So if I had decided to stay put, that would have been perfectly fine too. And it might have been just a little uncomfortable at first, like since things were shifting at work and stuff, but that is all mindset stuff. So that could have just been a new and different forgiveness opportunity for me to shift that, because I've done it before. I could do it again. So there aren't any wrong answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That sounds like a perfect way to start wrapping this up. We're coming to the end of our time. So we can't get this wrong, people. Love it.
Yeah. What is that face, Benny?
Let your intuition flow.
Yay. Penny's toasted.
I don't know.
Are you playing that song? We can't hear it.
I am. Oh, you didn't hear it? Okay.
What song is it?
Let the good times roll. Like, let your intuition flow.
Let the good times roll. I got it.
Yeah. Let your intuition flow.
I got it. It makes more sense. Penny, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's my
Anything?
posted.
Yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts on intuition? Anybody?
When you're laughing a lot, it's good news. I would say that's a good sign.
I agree. Good point. All right. Well, thank you for following your intuition to our podcast today. And we hope to see you around again. Check out our website, 5lemonslaughing.com. And there you'll find links to all of the different places you can listen to our episodes. You'll find links to a lot of the resources that that have been helpful to us and that we talk about frequently on this show. And you'll find our social media handles, a way to contact us. And we're adding more to the website soon. We'll be adding more bios and about us and stuff. It's still a work in progress, but thank you for listening. Thanks for your support. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. We miss you. We miss you, Drusilla.
Oh, Drusilla,
Yes.
love you.
Bye.